So when you're processing the onions right out the field, you don't want to wash them. You don't. I just basically just knock the heavy dirt off of them, and I trim them up enough to lay on my rack. I just got here, I don't know how long it is. Just cut off enough of it to where it lay on the rack pretty even. Nothing will knock it off as it's walking by. Yeah, let them cure out that way. Welcome back to Lick Branch Farms. My name's David. Yeah, I know it's been a while since I put out a video, but everything's been super busy around here. You know, we had the spring plant rush, and that took a majority of our time, and it's kind of calmed down a little bit now to where everybody's either got everything that they're going to get in their garden, or they just didn't plant one period. And I still got plenty of plants left over from that. Well, I say plenty, but you know, not as bad as it could have been. I still got some lettuces left over here, a few tomatoes and peppers, which most of those are gonna go in my garden. And I got a bunch of tomatoes out here left over. A lot of those are gonna go in my garden, and everything you see on that trailer there is going in my garden. So it didn't turn out too bad. Like I said, I didn't get stuck with a lot. You know, and what I don't get rid of, I'll use, and if I don't use it, I'll feed it to the pigs or feed it to the chickens, one of the two. But yeah, the plant season, the spring plant season was super busy. And I haven't sat down and figured up the total yet of what we sold, but it went beyond what I thought was going to happen, because just one plant farm in particular, we did an astronomical amount of business. I mean, he was selling as fast as I could get it to him, and you know, we appreciate the business. And I know next year to get started earlier, and I know to get started on a bigger scale. And you know, plants are going to be one of those things to where you never know what to expect. You could have a real wet spring where nobody wants to get out there and mess around in the garden. You could have, you know, a long cold winter where it runs into what we call our planting season, and that prolongs everything. So that means you got to hold on to it. So there's a lot of variables that go into that. You're just gonna have to be prepared for it. You're gonna have to be prepared to adjust and, you know, make decisions on what you need to do. I did have to compost a lot of plants simply because they didn't sell, or I either started them too late or I started them too early. So that was a learning curve for me, which, you know, everything's getting a little more expensive now. Soil's getting a little more expensive. You know, trays are getting harder and harder to find, and they're getting a little bit more expensive. I know I got one tray in particular that I use, and I usually place an order once a month. And when I order them, I'm ordering hundreds at a time. But you know, just what I ordered, the price went up 20 bucks on 100 just in a month's time. In 3 weeks' time, it went up 20 bucks on 100. So you know, when you ordering 1,000 trays, that can get pretty expensive, and you have to adjust your costs. You try to suck up what you can, but you know, in the end, you have to make money at it if you're going to do it. So I mean, you don't have to, but what's the sense in doing it if you're not making money? So yeah, the spring plant season, if you look back on a few videos, you'll see where we were, you know, getting ready for spring garden season, and we were starting tomatoes and peppers and all that stuff. Anyway, it's kind of slowed down now, so we're taking a break from that, and we're going to utilize this time to get our garden in order, which I've got a lot of stuff out there, and I'll take you down there in a minute. It's raining out there right now. We've been getting rain for the past few days, so it's been hard to get out there and do anything, but I've been slowly but surely working on trellises and my cucumbers. Cabbage is starting to head up now. We have squash that are loaded, and they're all like this big. But the onions are ready to come out of the ground. The onions we planted back in November. I think it was November. Me and Jace planted a mess of Texas Legend onions, and we planted a mess of Red Creole onions. And I've got the Red Creole in here now that I pulled. The Texas Legend are still in the ground. I pulled a few test bulbs to see if they're ready, and they are. But depending on this weather, we may get them out the ground today, we may not, I don't know. But I built this little test rack here, or this drying rack here. I made it out of the plant rack that I had back in the spring that had lights on it now. But yeah, this is the rack that I built to cure onions on. And you can see these are the these are the Red Creole. And although they didn't make a huge bulb, they did make a bulb. And I think the problem with this onion here is that I grew this onion in the wrong zone. You know, onions need so much daylight above, and I mean, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I think it's wrong for this area, the Red Creole is. And for some reason, although the Texas Legend, it did not go to seed. You can look in this bucket here, and you can tell the Red Creole did. And I don't know that that's going to affect it any, but, you know, we got a mess of them still in a pile here that I'm trying to process. And what I'm going to do is I'll clip off the tops enough to where they'll lay on this rack. And I got this big fan back here. We'll keep air circulating across them and dry. And when all of this green looks like this, then we'll cut them on down to, and I broke this one off pulling it out of the ground. We'll cut them on off to here. We'll trim off the bottoms, dust off, never wash, dust off what little bit of dirt's on them, and they'll be ready to either sell or they'll be ready to, you know, consume. Yeah, that little bit of dirt, you can see in there, it helps protect it. You see like that skin there. Once you get a good cured onion, you know, you'll be able to kind of pull off these layers, and it'll be a clean, pretty, almost perfect skin. And you can put them up however you want to. And see, that's what I'm cutting them off to, about 24 inches, just so they lay on the rack. And, you know, from what I understand, and I'm no onion expert by no means, but what I understand is this onion has a lot of stored energy in these tops. And if you let this dry, this onion will absorb, you know, a lot of that energy. And I've got to believe that it kind of affects the taste of it too, just by doing that. So, I mean, I've seen it done that way for years. I've, you know, watched a ton of videos on it, and although some people don't do it, most people, you know, around our area, that's the way they cure onions. I know I cured them last year, my onions and my garlic down in the chicken coop, and basically didn't think too much of that. So this year we're gonna cure them up here in this barn. I built this rack, so it'll be easy to kind of keep an eye on them and see where, you know, everything's at, and to be able to pull a few off if we want to, you know, cook with them or eat them on something, a sandwich or whatever. But I am not a huge onion fan, but everybody else in my family is. So they will get utilized, I can promise you that. And this rack will serve double duty, because during the planting season, the tray season, then I can use this to put trays on to, you know, either put outside to harden off, or, you know, just to store them to make room somewhere else. But yeah, we're going to finish up on these reds, and then let me give you a shot of the Texas Legend. All right, so you can see this is the Red Creole. It made a pretty decent bulb. I mean, it's not huge, but usually red onions don't get that big. Not as big as these do. Now this is the Texas Legends that we planted. And you can see that onion probably weighs, I don't know, 8 ounces, 10 ounces, somewhere around in there. I may weigh a few of them just to see, but that is just a massive onion. Look at the tops on it. And these things got huge, man. These tops they were pushing 4 feet, 4.5 feet. But yeah, that's about average. You can see I got several of them up here. That's about the average size of the onions that I pulled. Well, Jace pulled these. But yeah, and there are a ton of onions down there. I'm telling you, those rows are full. Whereas, you know, the Red Creole, you get a lot of this. And, you know, it's like it attempted to make a bulb, but, you know, just run out of time. That's what I'm thinking. But like I said, I'm not knocking it, because there are some on there pretty good looking onions. I mean, that's a pretty good looking onion, but ain't nothing like that. So we're going to finish up on the reds, and then if this rain lets up, I'll take you down in the garden and show you we're going to pull. I'm gonna need a trailer. I'm gonna put the trailer on the back of the golf cart, and Bessie gets done up there cooking breakfast. She may come down here and give me a hand. I don't know if it's raining. She may not want to mess with it, but I got to get them out of the field. I got the onions and the garlic. I got the red garlic. I got some back here. So I got the rest of the white onions, the sweet onions, to get out. I got the red garlic, which is these guys. You can see they did pretty good. And then I got the elephant garlic, which is these guys, and they did great. There's not that many of them though. A lot of them didn't make big bulbs this year for some reason. I don't know, but they're loaded full of corn, so you know we may turn around and put the corns in the ground. So we still got garlic to get out. We got the white onions to get out. And the reason I'm doing all this is because I got okra ready to go in the ground, and I need to get my purple hull peas in too. And I'm going to use that plot and the plot that I got potatoes in right now. I'm gonna combine the two. We're gonna make one long plot out of that, and we're gonna plant okra and purple hull peas in that area. So I got to finish up on my tractor, which is gonna be for a whole nother video. I got to finish up on the tractor, and I got a new seeder out there, a new to me seeder. It's not new by no means, but I had to order some parts for it to get it working. And we're going to put all that stuff together, make a few videos out of that, and now I'm going to use both of those pieces of equipment down there in the garden, putting everything in the ground. So look out for that one. Trying to leave as much dirt as I can down here in the yard. Some of these rascals are in there. Yeah. See, all of them's not going to be monsters like the ones I showed you up there, but it's still, I mean, good sized onion. So we're going to work our way down this road and try to get this done before the rain comes in. Still good sized onion. The farther we go that way, and I know what it is because this field kind of slopes this direction, so that rain, most of the nutrients that's on top of the soil pushes that way, and then as it leaches down, it gives those onions on that end, you know, more of a, I guess, gives them more amendments, and therefore they got bigger. But the root system on these things, some of them just hard. I got a little tool up there that I usually use to get the garlic out the ground, and I may have to get it to get these. But yeah, these came from, if you remember back in that video when we planted onions, these came from Dixondale Farms. And you know, this is the second season that I've got my onion starts from Dixondale's, and both years they did really, really well. First year I've planted Texas Legend, and I'm liking it. So far I'm liking it. I don't know, we may try another red onion this coming fall. I don't know, that's 2 years in a row that I planted red onions, and the yield was just not that great. Those in the barn there, we'll utilize them for something. I got a recipe for pickled red onions that I want to try, and I told Betsy about it, and she's never tried pickled onions, I don't think. So it'll be something for us to do a video on and work on up here in the house. But I'm gonna try to get the rest of these onions out of the ground here. I'm not gonna really load this wagon down because I don't want to rough up the skin. They're real tender right now, so you have to be kind of particular with them when you get them up. Get all the dirt off of them. Yeah, you can see the root system on them dudes, man. Okay, so we're still down here in the onion, and then we got, I'm guessing, maybe half of the field. Well, excuse me, half of that row. At least half of it. And we got a trailer full. I said I wasn't gonna pack them in there, but there wasn't no sense in running back and forth, and plus there's a lot of green in there, so I'm trying to protect them as much as I can. But yeah, these things are pulling really easy. And they got a real good root system on them. Yeah, we're gonna continue with the rest. We're gonna go get rid of this load first, and then we're gonna come back and get the rest of them and get them on the rack and see how much room we got. I mean, it's gonna be tight, really, really, really tight. We're gonna see. Well, missed the real one. Put it back. we're gonna see what we're working with once we get all these on that rack, and then we'll go from there. Because I still got garlic and everything else I got to deal with, so I can see me building another one. Maybe, I don't know about today, but eventually. All right, guys, so that is all of the onions. Got two racks of Texas Legends and one rack of Red Creole. And I pulled some of the garlic up while I was down there running the tiller a minute ago. And this is Chestnut Red. And once we can get it cured and dried, and I can open everything up and see what it looks like. I can smell it though, it smells real strong. But yeah, I'm gonna go to town, I'm gonna get another roll of hardware cloth and do another bottom rack. And then I'm gonna work on getting the rest of the garlic out and letting it go on the bottom rack cured. I should be able to get everything on one rack. That garlic doesn't take up a whole lot of space. You can see the bulbs are not very big. Some of the elephant garlic down there though, it's pretty good size. And I think I got a few up here. Yeah, here is elephant garlic clove. You can see those things are pretty massive, but there's not that many of them compared to the red garlic. But yeah, I'm glad to have that done, and now we can start working on getting that plot turned over and getting ready to put okra and purple hull peas down. And I got my part in for my planter, so I'm gonna work on that some this week, get it ready to go, so when everything's done, the potatoes are out, everything's done and disked and ready to go, we'll get the tractor, which you can see right now is in 100 pieces. And I'm gonna do a video on that here probably next week. But got some issues that we had to work through, but I'm waiting on parts. So when the parts come in, I'll get the video together and tell you guys what's going on with it. All right, guys, so this is where the onions and all that was. I've been working down here with a tiller for a little while, trying to get it ready to put something else in the garden. This is the Chestnut Red and this is the elephant garlic. I've already pulled a bunch of elephant garlic out of here, but yeah, I got to get this ground worked up here. Go ahead and put my amendments in and let it sit for a little bit, but I ain't gonna let it sit too long. You know, bare ground isn't making you any money, so the longer you let it sit with nothing in it. So guys, I'm gonna get over here and get the rest of this garlic up and try to get the rest of this bed disc in or tilled in. But if you hadn't already, reach over here in this corner and click that subscribe button and click the bell notification so you get notified every time I put out a video. As always, guys, I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.